Hail Pandawans and journeymen walking that illustrated path. Not only is there another video, a Sunset with Samwise video, I guess, because it's later in the evening, but this is a special video because today, February 8th, is the 32nd anniversary of the glorious day job, my Blizzard Entertainment, 32 years old today. That's a long time to be slinging pixels and polygons, you know what I mean? So happy 32 Big Blue. So in times like this, it's good to reminisce, right? Talk about old friends, old games, and even at the very beginning of how I got the job at Blizzard. So a lot of you old farts may remember this. There was a paper called the Orange County Register, or it was the Penny Saver. I'm not sure, but in Orange County, back in the mid 80s to 90s, they had these papers that would come in the mail, and they would have people selling refrigerators, basically like Facebook Marketplace or whatever it is, but for local stuff. Come get a soiled bed, or come get a stained couch, and all that great stuff. They had some good deals. But anyways, it was in one of those, or the OC Register is the local Orange County newspaper. But in the thing called the job ads, yeah. I was looking, and there was this line that said, through all the different things, there wasn't a ton of art jobs, but it was make art for video games. And yeah, I remember it being kind of ominous because it was like one line, very descriptive. It's like, come make money for work. It's like, what am I going to be in Hitman training or something? Or, you're going to have me doing like robberies or something. It sounded very, very dark and all that. So obviously, I went and applied for it. One, because, it was better than what I was doing. I was working at a movie theater, cleaning up crap-filled movie theaters, popcorn, Cokes, all the kids spilling or, getting sick and throwing up. The funny thing too is I remember I was, because I lived at home at the time, and I read it out to my mom, and she's like, "Were you gonna go?" I go, "I don't know. It sounds kind of doinky, like doinky meaning like we use that term for like small or weak or whatever." And she's like, "Oh yeah, your job cleaning, other people's crap is much better." And I'm like, "All right, Mom, I'll go do it." And so, so listen to your mom, kids. So I basically called and got an interview, and the interview was like for the next day or something really, really tight. And so I didn't have a portfolio. I had a portfolio. It was in the garage in the original wrapping paper that it came in. So I ran out to the garage and got that. I took off, the wrapping paper, took out the, whatever cardboards they had in there, holding it all, making it all rigid and stuff. And I went into my room and I just started going through my sketchbooks. And the funny thing was, I had a lot of the artwork in frames on my walls. Like I would do these big black and white images of, just dragons or whatever. And so some of them, I just put the whole thing in there with the frame. Like I was like, screw it, put it in there. And these were like big old like portfolio cases, like, I don't know, 2 feet by something, like those big, gigantic, it looked like a solar panel. So basically, when I went for the interview, my dad drove me. I don't remember why I didn't drive. My dad drove me, and he parked out front, and I went inside, and I walked into the place, and is where I first met a guy named Frank Pierce. He was one of the founders, and he had this cool voice. It was always kind of like cracking and gruff. And I walk in, he's like, "Can I help you?" And I'm like, "I'm here to see Alan Adham." And he's like, "Alan's busy. You want to talk to Mike?" I'm like, "Sure, man." And I was nervous. I'd never been in like a professional environment. I guess if you can call it professional. It had like posters of video games and Star Trek and stuff like that on the walls. But so I went in there and I met with Mike. And I opened up my portfolio, and I remember him looking at it, like taking out these big giant frames. It was so embarrassing. And he's like, "I think we should show Alan this." I don't know, maybe if Alan was really busy, or Mike was like, the first rung I had to get through. But I met with Alan, and they offered me a job that day. And I was super happy because, I was working at the movie theater at that time. And I think I was working at my first kind of art job was a place called Interchem, and where I made it was like for not cosmetics, but like soap and shampoo and cleaners. But I would do the silk screening for the labels I'd put together. That was my computer art experience. I could type and put in logos, and they'd make silk screens of it. But it was paying, the same as I was making there. And it was also paying more than way more than the movie theater, that I still kept the job because, hey, free movies and popcorn. But yeah, I got the job, and after that was in 91 of, what was it, December 1st is when I started. So yeah, I guess 32, my 32nd birthday then. Yeah, see, I'm only 32. Will be in December, if yeah, that'll be 32 years. How many people listening right now aren't even 32? I know when I was working with some people at work, it was like 29th or 30, anniversary. They announced it, and they were like, I'm not even that old yet. I'm like, geez, we were making games and, pushing pixels and polygons like longer than most people were alive here. Yeah, so, it's funny is I was looking at the anniversaries and stuff like that, and the anniversary for Elite Tauren Chieftain is coming up in July. I think maybe it's July 3rd. But when we released our first single, Power of the Horde, it came with this free game called The Frozen Throne. You might have played it. I don't know. I know you listened to the music. Maybe you played the game. But that was in July of 2003. So this year is going to be 20-year reunion not reunion, but 20-year anniversary for Elite Tauren Chieftain. Holy crap. I mean, we still haven't even made a CD yet. Yeah, that's cool. We've had Ozzy and Metallica and Foo Fighters close our shows, and all that on the strength of not selling one CD. So let me talk a little bit about the artwork that I'm working on here. So this used to be originally called the Trinity for me, and not the religious Trinity, and not the Trinity of my family from New Orleans, the Trinity of onions and bell pepper and celery that we cook with and everything, and somehow it tastes different in every meal. But the Trinity of the original Blizzard IPs was Warcraft, StarCraft, and Diablo. Now, Diablo came out before StarCraft, right? Diablo came out in like 95 or 96, something like that, and StarCraft in 98. Original Warcraft was 94, I believe, or 95. Man, Warcraft's getting old too. But sorry, off topic. But the reason why I called it the Trinity is because it kind of had a dominant, and you'll see I'm going to start doing colors here eventually. But Warcraft was, predominantly green, I would say, because it was associated with orcs. And, the Elwyn Forest is green, and the grass of Azeroth. I know it has more, but when I think of Warcraft, that's the color scheme I think of. Now, StarCraft, I think of blue, right? So, not only are the kind of base Terran Marines that you see blue, but the Protoss, have the blue psi power. They have the blue Khydaran crystals, the blue of space, like the cosmos and all that. And then Diablo was predominantly red because it was based, with Hell and Big Red himself and the red crystal and all that, breathing fire and all that kind of great stuff. So that was the original Trinity, I called it, not only because it was the three games, but then it was the three colors, the RGB, which is, in computer speak, those are all the colors we use to make the video games. And I thought that was kind of cool. And then when we made all the other games, the original Trinity was gone, but then we had the next Trinity, which was the Hearthstone and Heroes and Overwatch. And kind of Heroes got associated with kind of a purple color scheme because it was also in space, but it was more of the digital cosmos, as I called it. It had like the kind of the grids and all that sort of stuff, and the purple kind of cosmic stuff. Hearthstone, I don't know if we really had a color with. I always, for some reason, thought gold, but gold was for the Warcraft logos, but that wasn't it for Hearthstone. And then Overwatch, I always kind of associated with an orange color because I like Tracer's pants, and then just the OW. I think there's like the little tiny triangle in it. But yeah, the original Trinity was sort of the RGB, and here I am putting in some of the colors and stuff like that. And what's funny is I kind of got a lot of that based off of the old Kiss solo albums. There's 4 people in the group, but they had, red, purple, green, and blue on their solo albums that were headshots of Gene, Paul, Peter, and Ace. And it was so iconic to me at the time. I think they came out in 78 or something. I was 8 years old. But it was just such a strong presence. It had the black and white face paint of the group, and then it had this color scheme with an aura going around him. And if you go and look up those Kiss solo albums, you'll see kind of what I do here with like the black and white face, and then I do the aura around in color. I kind of do a little more on this one, but you see me do it on countless videos. It's a quick way to add color, but yeah, I just know that always resonated with me, and I always, I'm unabashed Kiss fan ever since I was, she was 9 years old. Mom took me to the Anaheim Convention Center to see Kiss that was great. Yeah, but this is just a little, trip down memory lane, reminiscing, wanting to wish Blizzard another happy birthday. Here's to another, 32 more. And hopefully I'll have paroled by then. Watch me struggle with the name here. All right, people. Cheers and beers. ABC.